Yeah, it showed up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the room in order here. I've got 5 o'clock, so I'll call this work session of the Enterprise City Council to order. Let the record show that all members of the council are present. As you can see, our first item on our work session agenda are our Q4 goals. Just a reminder, on the 18th, I believe it is, we're going to be getting together to do our annual strategic planning session. And so, Jonathan, did we have any updates on our Q4 goals here?
No significant updates. Council members, the biggest thing, the zoning and subdivision regulations, if you recall, subdivision regulations will be presented to the Planning Commission probably sometime in February. We anticipate the zoning advertisement to go out here in January to the public notice in advertisement in the local paper, and then sometime in February to come before the council for consideration.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the council regarding our fourth quarter goals? As you can, he's got us an update there below, which is the same as our last meeting. So we'll move on to our agenda review for the regular meeting tonight. So turn in your big folder here. So we've got our consent agenda with council meeting minutes from December 19th, then accounts payable A of close to $690,000 and B for $38. Then we've got contract billings for Wiregrass Construction Company for our resurfacing phase 3A. I believe that closes that out, does it not, Glenn? Or comes close?
It not quite closes it out. It's probably about the final regular payment. There's retainage.
Okay.
They're still retaining 10% on the overall contract
Gotcha.
amount. And we're holding Phase 3A open potentially for a change order associated with Dozier Road.
Gotcha.
So we're going to just hold it. Phase 3B is in closeout phase. They're advertising completion. We're going to go ahead and close it out in the next month probably.
All right. Any questions of Glenn on the paving project? All right, we got invoices from KPS Group regarding their contract planning services, and then which is the comprehensive plan that we've been working on. Of course, the zoning map there in regards to what Jonathan just told us about. Then we've got a fire department travel request from Chief Davis. And then we'll move on to a special presentation by the mayor, approval of the floor, staff reports. We do have a public hearing tonight for Aldi number 96 for their ABC license request. That is the only thing in old business, and we'll move on to new business. We've got our annual transportation plan from Glenn. I believe it's just to comply with the Rebuild Alabama Act, right, Glenn? We've been doing that for several years since they passed that bill.
That's correct.
Any questions on that? All right, then we've got a bunch of planning commission recommendations, so we're just going to recommend these. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all related to the property there on 84 West that the ID board is purchasing potentially. Then of course, the ordinances that relate to the same recommendations. Those will all be laid over until February 6th. Then we've got another ABC license request, but we're just introducing that tonight, and nominations from the Main Street Board. That's the entirety of our meeting tonight, other than mayor's and council report. Now, we do have an E911 board meeting, so turn to that. I was just explaining to Eugene and Sonia, Chief Moore, we're going to be having one of these every month now, right? And that's in response to recommendation from the auditors last year, is that right?
Yes. I think every year, well, it's always been a recommendation, but it needs to have separate E911 board to meet more than once, I think once a quarter, whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's to pay bills and stuff.
Mostly has to do with the payables.
Yeah.
And we explained, that they're included also in the city council, but as you are joined as the city council and not as the E911, the E911 auditors would like for you to be together as that and making an official vote as the E911 board.
So they want us to
So-
approve it twice on both
Yes,
sides.
Yes, exactly. So they want an official meeting of the E911 board and official approval on the books for those payables.
Yep.
So,
So that'll happen, I guess, the first meeting of every month typically?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so we'll go to that, then we'll approve our minutes and our accounts payables of $6,000, and then we'll adjourn. So should be a quick regular meeting tonight. So back to the work session agenda. We've got a capital projects update from our city engineer, Barry Mott.
Council members, while Mr. Mott is finishing up over there, I just wanted to point out in your work session packets, you'll see some notes from Alabama Power Company from a lighting study that they recently conducted. There'll be more on that to follow, but I wanted to make sure everybody had a copy of what their recommendations were for the downtown area. And then we're going to work through a site visit on January 11th to go visit the lighting downtown with them and map it out, and then come back with a recommendation and a dollar figure to implement their recommendation.
Sounds good. You ready, Barry?
Yes, sir. Thank you. First of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
The contractors, as you know, most of the time of the year between Christmas and New Year's, they typically take some time off. So there's not a lot of change between what we went through in December and today, but I wanted to keep us on schedule the first council meeting of every month to give you a quick rundown of the capital projects. And I got good response back from most of you that said that you like this level of detail just to kind of keep us on track of where we are. I tried a new format, and tell me if this works for you. Anything that's in red on the screen would be a new update. So I left kind of what was there and I changed it. And anything that was changed or updated, I put in red. So I'll just kind of flip through the capital projects. And they're in the same sequential order they were last month. And I'll be glad to, if you want to, I can be glad to email this out if you have any questions. But is that showing up on your monitors up there? It's awesome. So PV Park Phase 1, that's in construction, roughly about 80% complete. Talking to Glenn, they're working on having final power to the building that's there with the concession building. They got to finish up some painting and some other work on that project. Not much has changed in the last month, but they are still making progress. PV Park Phase 2, there's really no change on this project, and there probably won't be much change on this project till summer of this year, I guess, 2024. Till we get through with Phase 1, and I free up some time for my Public Works guys to get started on the Phase 2 project. There's a sketch there just kind of to the right of what we're talking about doing. We're kind of changing a couple of the layouts of the fields, and we're going to be doing some work on the parking areas there. Most of the rock, just to remind you of that, the crushed stone, instead of purchasing that, a lot of the rock or the concrete that we got out of the rec center and some of the projects that we worked on in the city, we have saved all that concrete, and our intention, we budgeted for a crusher to come in and crush that concrete up. So we can take that concrete, turn it into another material that we typically use on construction projects. We'll turn it into crush and run. Then we'll use that to put down the rock for the parking areas on PV Phase 2. That'll save us a significant amount of money, well into the six figures for doing that. The Recreation and Aqua Facility, we went on a tour a few weeks back. I hope you enjoyed that. I thought Billy and his group did a fantastic job of giving us a tour of where we are today. I bumped that to 35% complete this month. That was at 30% complete. Pool is in full construction now. If you saw that, they've got plastic down to keep some of the water off, but they're They're working on the pool. I would expect after this rain and cold weather moves out in the next week or two, to get back into work into that. Still on projection to be completed earlier than October 2024, but that is the construction completion date for the rec center, is October 2024. City Hall renovations, the first 2 weeks in December, they made some good progress on demo. Not much has been done in the last week and a half. We're approximately 15% complete with that project. Construction schedule is still October of this year. We have a owner, architect, contractor meeting tomorrow to go through with all the disciplines of where we are on that building. I want to take this moment to remind the public that in the next week, end of this week, first of next week probably, we will be moving all public access to City Hall to the front of City Hall. There won't be public access from the rear of City Hall anymore. We're doing that because we are going to have to remove all of the sewer lines and water lines to the building to be replaced as part of the construction project. And to do that, we have moved a mobile trailer to the back for the employees that work at City Hall to have restroom facilities. And to do that, we have to remove that rear access for the public of City Hall. So all public access to City Hall will be at the front of City Hall. We'll get a press release out on that, and we'll have signage put up to that effect. The mail drop that's at the back of City Hall will remain where it is.
What about handicap accessibility?
So we have handicap accessibility in the front of the building, and we also have the Purple Heart parking up front of City Hall as well. The front of City Hall is set up for ADA compliant handicap access. With push button door openings, the same thing. Paving project, as we talked about, 3A is relatively done. We're holding some money in 3A. 3B, Glenn says we'll probably punch that thing out next month and get you a final pay app on 3B. 4, you see some updates on that. There's basically 9 streets remaining in paving project 4. The contractor has given us a list of the streets that he anticipates to move forward with here next, and I've listed those there for you. Also, just a reminder that after they get through with the paving, we still got to come back and do permanent striping markings, and all the loops that are controlled by all the signals still have to be installed. The downtown parking, downtown sidewalk project, we're 100% complete with the West Lee Street component. We moved over to Edwards because getting close between Christmas and New Year's, the contractor elected to wait till this week to get back on Edwards Street. We think it's 2 weeks worth of construction work to have that project complete on Edwards, and I'll get you some pictures of that before and after, but we should be through with that 2 weeks out. So the old completion date was, I had it down as 12/31. I projected that forward to be Friday week of next week. We should be through with Edwards, and that will complete up the sidewalk repair work. So that's sidewalks that currently that we do have that needed to be repaired because they were not ADA compliant.
Barry, that parking area on Lee Street, do we plan on striping it to mark off the parking spaces?
The parking lot in East
On Lee Street, where we did the new sidewalks, you
Yes,
had
sir.
that parking area on the left side?
Yes, sir. We had not planned on doing that. There wasn't striping there before, but we can do that. That's definitely not a problem to do that. We can do that
I
in-house.
think it would be to our advantage.
Okay, I'll take care of that. No problem.
Barry, there was also a question from the council earlier about the heads on the lights. I know you relocated some lights onto that Lee Street project. Are they, when will the lights be functional, I guess?
So Shannon, I know you were working on getting those hooked up.
It's going to take a few months to get those lights because all that stuff we had to order for those lights, they don't have it in stock, so we have to request to order it, and it takes a while for it to get here, so that's why we're waiting on the heads to come back in.
We were able to reutilize the poles and a lot of the fixtures that were there from other projects that were around town that those poles were taken down. So as soon as we have those parts in, we will have those back and installed and relit. And that'll be on the West Lee Street side. pickleball courts. The contractor is nearly done with what he has in his contract. There was a second component of this to get this back within budget. Public Works was going to pick up doing some of the finished grading, as well as doing the access road between the main road and where the parking lot area is. We decided, because the old tennis court area was in such good shape and the contractor didn't tear it up during construction, we're going to use that area for parking. So I'm working on a couple layouts, working with Billy Powell and his group, something that he can agree upon for usage, and we're looking at taking that area and striping that area off for parking as well. So we're still within our budget and timing. We still should be done by the first quarter of this year, 2024. The roundabout, or the intersection with Sheffield Road and 27, no change. We're still waiting on AlDOT to come back with a final decision of what they want to do on construction. That's all in AlDOT's hands. The airport hangar incubator building, I met with a contractor and the engineer this morning. They are moving forward to start digging on the footers, and we'll be pouring the footers next week. And then after that, the building should start going up. Have you more progress on that next month. TAP grant for sidewalks. This is one that's been out there for a while. All this has been submitted into AlDOT. This is completely out of our hands and our consultants' hands. So we're waiting on them to come back with a date of when we can go to bid on that project. We're projecting, what they have told us is first quarter of this year to have a date to go to bid on that project. No change on that project. Just one thing I wanted to mention to you this week. Last week was a busy day, especially the day after Christmas. Sometimes you kind of take for granted how good our Public Works group is, and I just want to pat them on the back for a minute. In one day, last Wednesday, they picked up 5,800 cans. Long day for those group. Filled up 7 semi-trucks, approximately 200 tons of household garbage we picked up in one day on Wednesday. Let you know that we are up to date on all household garbage. That's what goes in your green can. That is up to date. Currently, we are behind, about 2 days behind on bulk garbage, and that's what goes to the county or to the grinding site. And it will probably take us about 2 weeks to catch up those 2 days. There's just a good bit of material on the streets. We're running about 2 days behind on that. So this is not uncommon. I've seen where other cities are in the same predicament, where there's just an abundance of trash on the street. Another city that I talked to recently, they were behind on their household garbage. That's not our case. We're good on the household garbage, but our bulk garbage is about 2 days behind. So what we do is when we're behind on that, like for example, if your bulk garbage was to pick up on a Friday, they're going to pick that up. They started this afternoon, pick it up tomorrow. That they will not skip a whole week. They stay on the same cycle, and they'll do that till they catch up. So we expect to be back caught up by the end of next week. But I want to give the council an update on that.
Barry, back when we had to hire the outside contractor to help us pick up,
Yes, sir.
we talked about notifying the public about what we would pick up and what we would not, especially when we have a contractor going into a job and putting their debris by the curbing.
Yes, sir.
Have we done any progress on that?
As we see people that violate what our ordinances are, we go meet with those individuals one-on-one, and we do have the hang tags that we'll put up there saying this is not within what we typically pick up, and we've handled it on a case-by-case basis.
I noticed on Ozark highways, you're going out on north, someone come in there a couple of weeks ago and replaced the driveway. They've got all that concrete piled by the street.
And we will not pick that up.
I know you won't, but I was just wondering if we had some way of notifying the public.
We're using our sanitation group. We're using the Assistant Public Works Director, and we're also using code enforcement to get with the people that are violating those and letting those people know what we do and don't do. It's as much of an education process, but sometimes they do know and they still put it on the street to see if we'll pick it up.
Yeah.
So we do the best we can to let them know we will not do it and why we will not do it. But that's not the reason we're behind. We're
No,
behind
I
because of
realize
the
that.
holidays. Before we got behind for different reasons, but for this case, it's just holidays, short weeks, and abundance of garbage. But running about a day and a half, 2 days behind right now.
Councilman Goolsby, I just want to remind you as well, Ms. Glasscock had updated the city website. So all of the information to the public about what we will and won't pick up is current and up to date on the city website, as well as several press releases and social media blitzes back during the summer and early fall that she did notifying the public about, just that, what we do and don't pick up. But maybe we can look at revisiting and do that again, if that pleases you.
Thank you.
And with that, that's a quick update of where we are today. I'll answer any other questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions on capital projects from Barry? All right, thank you for that. Very helpful, keeping us updated.
Thank you.
All right, we're a few minutes ahead. Does anybody have anything on the work session that they wish to discuss that isn't on the agenda? As long as it's brief. If not, then we'll go to our last item, which is executive session regarding real estate negotiations. Is there any other items?
I think we may have one from Chief Moore regarding good name and character. Is that still something you'd like to do?
Okay, so good name and character and real estate are the requests for an executive session. Do I hear a motion?
Move we go into executive session.
All right, we have a motion, a second, to go into executive session regarding real estate and good name and character. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I expect this will take around 25 or 30 minutes. We don't expect to discuss anything else in work session, but we will adjourn that when we get back and reconvene in our regular council meeting at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to call this meeting of the Enterprise City Council to order. Let the record show that all members of the council are present. If you would, please stand with me for opening prayer and pledge of allegiance. Do we have Pastor Corbin Griffin here with us tonight? If you would, please, yes, come to the podium and open us in prayer.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, as we come to you this afternoon, this evening, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this new year. And Lord, I pray for the city council as they do your work, Lord. I pray that you'll give them wisdom, discernment, and understanding, Lord, and everything will go the way you want it to, Lord. We give you all the glory, all the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, council, you have the agenda that we discussed in the work session prior to this in front of you. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
I move to approve the agenda of the meeting as submitted.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll now consider the consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the council for review, are considered to be routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the City Council with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired on an item, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request of a member of the City Council. I'll now call for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Let the record show I'll be abstaining due to a conflict with accounts payable B. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we'll now have a special presentation by the mayor, who will present a plaque to Rainer Cotter in recognition of gratitude for 23 years of dedicated service to the city. And council, we're going to go down front also.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special presentation that we're going to make. I'm going to ask Raina and family if they would come up. Today, we are recognizing Raina Cotter, who has diligently served the city and the citizens of Enterprise for more than 20 years. Rainer Cotter will be leaving to assist in his family business. He told me that this has been a difficult decision, but he informed both the council and me that he feels like he needs the help in this way, and we understand his decision. The city attorney is a mayoral appointment, and have asked our current city prosecutor, Ashley Marshall, to take on the city attorney duties. She has experience in representing municipalities, and I know she will do a good job. Raina has agreed to assist with the transition and complete legal work on a few projects that we have ongoing, and will remain as a legal consultant for the city as this occurs. Raina, you have served 3 different mayors and the multiple council members in your 23 years as city attorney. We will miss you while we will be around. While we will be around for a while, we want you to know that we wish you well. And I would just like to say that Raina come in at City Hall on 2 wheels, and he has kept us out of jail. He has kept us in line that you could always call and talk to for advice. Always, when you call the first thing he asks you, did I catch you at a bad time? And sometimes it's already a bad time. But again, I would just like to say that he has really served this city well. He's always available, and he's always kind, and even when I was sick there, he always stayed in touch with my daughter and the family, checking on and making sure, even any of the rest of us, he was very cautious about trying to help. So, Raina, I don't know what we're going to do with you not being around, but may God's richest blessings be upon you and your family to a job well done.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, thank you.
I'll say just a quick word.
Yes, sure.
I wrote down just a very short remarks because I didn't think I could get through it without writing something. And I just wanted to say this. Thank you, Mayor Cooper. Thank you, council members, for allowing me to serve in this capacity. The past 23 years as city attorney have been the highlight of my professional career. It's been a pure honor. Enterprise has grown so much over the past 23 years, and from my observations and experiences during these past years, the mayors, city council members, and city employees are central reasons we have progressed so much. The public officials I have served, from Mayor Tim Alford to Mayor Kenneth Boswell to Mayor Bill Cooper, and all of the city council members from the past 23 years up to the present, have always, from my experience, put the public interest ahead of personal interests. I want to thank the city's employees. Past and present. It is really true that the city's employees are the heart of the city. They aren't bureaucrats. They're public servants who care about what they do and the public they serve. They approach their jobs every day in a practical, helpful way. Maybe on a more personal note, I want to say to the city department heads and employees, thank you for your patience and kindness toward me over the years, even when I had a tendency to over-lawyer things from time to time, and they know what I'm talking about. I'd also like to thank my family. This March, my wife and I will be married 30 years. Thank you, Vonda, for your support, and our beautiful daughter, Caroline, who's a sophomore at Troy University. Thank you, Caroline, for always being supportive. Finally, I want to say that I'll still be around to help when needed. Ashley, you'll do a great job, and I pledge my support to you and the city whenever it's needed. Thank you again, and God bless the city of Enterprise.
This award says Appreciation Award presented to Raina Carter in recognition and gratitude for 23 years of dedicated service to the city of Enterprise. We wish you well on your future endeavors. The second day of January in the year of our Lord, 2024, William E. Cooper Sr., Mayor, and I'll just call off the councilman not by district, just as their name, Turner Townsend, Eugene Gooseby, Jonathan Tellis, Sonia Rich, Greg Padgett, and Scotty Johnson.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor, for that, for presenting Rayner, which much-deserved recognition. So we will move on to privilege of the floor. This is the time of the meeting where any member of the public that's present this evening that wishes to address the council may do so for 3 minutes. I do want to bring your attention to the fact that we have one public hearing, only one tonight, that's regarding the Aldi application for a liquor license. If you're here to address anything else, now would be the time to do that. So we're not having any public hearings tonight regarding rezones or anything like that. So is anybody here to address the council? Yes, sir. Come forward. If you could please clearly state your name.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm John Funk, F-U-N-K. I live in District 4, and I have sent a quick note to the council last week. I believe Mr. Johnson has it. We have a slight issue in our area. The agricultural area behind Pratt Drive and Green Drive at that intersection is being clear cut. And I do not want to dissuade the owner of that property from being able to clear cut. It's his property to do with as he sees fit. I would just really appreciate, along with a lot of the other families, that they would start the clear cutting somewhere a little bit more closer to 7 than 3:30 in the morning as they are wont to do on a daily basis. They were out there again today. I did go back and check my cameras. I was off a little bit. I had thought the trucks were starting to drive down Pratt Drive fully laden at 6. It was actually 6:10, and they're pretty consistent with 6:10. I believe they're coming out of the woods at 6. They stop at the end of the road to secure their load, and then they continue on down. I don't want him to stop the cutting. If he's got the property and he has the rights, it's his to do with as he wishes. I would just like to be able to sleep along with my family. And then along with that, as an addendum on the note that I had given, usually when you're clear cutting that close to a residential area, there is building to be had. Our next concern is if they do reapply for a zoning change from agricultural to residential, is where is all this traffic going to go? Because right now the only ingress, egress into that area is through the Rucker Boulevard Elementary School zone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Funk. Anybody else wish to address the council? All right, we'll move on to staff reports. Do we have any staff reports? Leanne?
Just me again with my usual plug that we are in full swing on business license renewals right now. So today was our first official day renewing those business licenses, and we did have, if you stopped by City Hall today and saw, we did have a line going for most of the day. So I just wanted to remind everybody that you can, and we are encouraging you due to City Hall construction and renovations going on at City Hall, to, as much as you can, try and renew those business licenses by mail. And the other thing that you can do for our business owners is if you're coming in, if you still need to come in and talk to us or see us, please have your forms filled out when you come in, and also make sure that you bring any necessary documentation with you, because it'll make it so much smoother of a process if you already have your form filled out, and if you have the documentation necessary. Then we don't have to send you away and have you come back with that at another time. And if you have any questions about it, you can email the Revenue Office. That's revenue@enterpriseal.gov, or you can call them, and the ladies there will make sure that you have everything you need to know, so that you've gotten everything and have a list of what you need to bring with you when you come in. So we're in renewal season from now until February 15th. As long as you have those renewals postmarked by February 15th, you will be on time, and it doesn't matter if it takes it a week later to get to us. We know that. We're going to check those postmarks and make sure that you are counted as being on time as long as it's postmarked by February 15th. So,
All right.
thanks.
Thank you, Leanne. Any questions from the council? Any other staff reports? Okay, Barry?
Yes, sir. Just for the gentleman that spoke, let me just give a quick update. Engineering Department has not received any development plans for that property that's in question, as well as no zoning or rezoning requests for that property as well. Property owners in the city limits have the right to clear the trees on their property or do grading work on their property as they see fit. And there's no requirements for any kind of city permit for them to do that work. But I just wanted for the council to know that we have not received any development plans or rezoning requests at this time for that property.
Are there, and you may not be the one to answer this, but are there any regulations on those types of operations as far as time limits and days of the week?
I've got a note here to get with the police chief and just to make sure that they're operating per all the city ordinances and zones as far as time of day and what kind of vehicles that they're operating with.
Okay.
I was going to check on that.
Yeah, let us know on that, because, I mean, obviously, if there aren't those types of regulations, I think, that may be something we need to discuss.
Correct. Thank you, sir.
Any other staff reports? All right, moving on to old business. We have a public hearing and consideration of ABC license request for Aldi 96. I now call for a public hearing prior to consideration of a request from Aldi Incorporated, Alabama, doing business as Aldi 96 for a retail beer off-premise only license and retail wine off-premise only license located at 630 Bowleville Circle. So this hearing is now open. Is there anyone that here tonight that wishes to speak for or against this request? All right, I see no one, so I will now close the hearing and entertain a motion for consideration of the ABC license request.
I move to approve the ABC license request as submitted.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now move on to new business. The FY 2023 Transportation Plan Report from Glenn Morgan. I will now recognize Consulting Engineer Glenn Morgan, who will present the FY 2023 City of Enterprise Transportation Plan Report in accordance with the Rebuild Alabama Act. Glenn?
Mayor and council, in your packet should be a FY 23 Transportation Plan Report in full. It's basically one page with an attachment. I'm just going to briefly run down through a couple of points. The Rebuild Alabama Act was passed in 2019, brought new gas taxes to the state of Alabama, the counties and cities that make up the state as well. There were two things in that act that was required basically annually. The municipality must adopt an annual transportation plan no later than August the 31st. In your packet attached to the report tonight is a copy of the plan that was adopted by the City Council in August of 2022 for FY23. The act also requires that the first meeting in January, which is tonight, that a report be made on that plan that basically details the expenditures that were made in association with that plan from the new gas tax fund. And that's really the subject of this report. The plan that was approved in August of 2022 anticipated the city receiving funds in the amount of $170,000. And those funds would be used or designated toward completion of the City of Enterprise FY22 Phase 3 Master Street Resurfacing List. The actual funding that was received from the Rebuild Alabama Act for FY23 was $220,428.80 according to the city's financial director. And these funds were deposited into a separate fund as required and then transferred into the city's capital account for use. And those funds were utilized directly in accordance with the plan for the construction of the city's FY22 resurfacing improvements, basically, or more specifically, for the Phase 3A project, which would comply with the plan. So, if there's any questions?
Anybody have any questions of Mr. Morgan? All right, well then I will call for a motion to approve the FY 2023 Transportation Plan Report as presented.
Move to approve the FY 2023 Transportation Plan Report as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will now introduce Planning Commission recommendations. I introduce for the record a recommendation from the Enterprise Planning Commission to approve the following request for the rezone of property. A request by Connor Family Partnership LTD for the rezoning of 161.61 acres of land from AGR 1 Agricultural District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. A request by Connor Family Partnership LTD for the rezoning of 1.09 acres of land from R75S Residential District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. A request by Clark Lands LLP, FKA Clark Farms Limited Partnership for the rezoning of 81.05 acres of land from R75S Residential District to AGR1 Agricultural District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. A request by Moats Plantation LLC for the rezoning of 17.04 acres of land from R75S Residential District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. A request by Connor Family Partnership LTD and Moats Plantation LLC for the rezoning of 35.32 acres of land from R75S Residential District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. We will now introduce ordinance 010224 for Connor Family Partnership LTD Rezone 1. I introduce ordinance 010224 providing for the rezone of 161.61 acres of land owned by Connor Family Partnership LTD from AGR 1 Agriculture District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. Additionally, I'll call for a public hearing to be held at the regular meeting scheduled for February 6, 2024. We'll now introduce ordinance 010224A, Connor Family Partnership LTD Rezone 2. I introduce ordinance 010224A, providing for the rezone of 1.09 acres of land owned by Connor Family Partnership LTD from R75S Residential District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. I call for a public hearing to be held at the regular meeting scheduled for February 6, 2024. I introduce ordinance 010224B, the Clark Lands LLP rezone. I introduce ordinance 010224B, providing for the rezone of 81.05 acres of land owned by Clark Lands LLP, FKA Clark Farms Limited Partnership from R75S Residential District and AGR1 Agriculture District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. I call for a public hearing to be held at the regular meeting scheduled for February 6, 2024. Introduce ordinance 010224C, Moats Plantation LLC rezone. I introduce ordinance 010224C, providing for the rezone of 17.04 acres of land owned by Moats Plantation LLC from R75S Residential District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. I call for a public hearing to be held at the regular meeting scheduled for February 6, 2024. I introduce ordinance 010224D, Connor Family Partnership LTD, Moats Plantation LLC rezone. I introduce ordinance 010224D, providing for the rezone of 35.32 acres of land owned by Connor Family Partnership LTD and Moats Plantation LLC from R75S Residential District to M2 General Manufacturing District located at the intersection of Highway 84 and Moats Road. I call for a public hearing to be held at the regular meeting scheduled for February 6, 2024. We'll now consider the request for permission to purchase equipment regarding a Polaris utility vehicle from Parks and Recreation. I introduce and call for consideration of a request from Billy Powell, Director of Community Services and Recreation, to purchase one Polaris 570 utility vehicle from Dowling Tractor Company at a cost of $14,350. The equipment is a budgeted item in the FY24 budget. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve
the
the,
purchase of the request as submitted.
second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the purchase request as submitted. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll now introduce an ABC license request. I introduce a request from Blazing Wings Incorporated, DBA Buffalo Wild Wings, for a restaurant retail liquor license located at 708 Bowlville Circle, Suite 3, and call for a public hearing to be held at the regular meeting scheduled for January 16th, 2024. We now consider nominations to Main Street Board. I call for nominations for a 3-year term to the Main Street Enterprise Board to fill the expiring board seats of Gina Esperanza, Debbie Gaidos, Adam McAllister, Katie Sawyer, Jane Wardrobe, and Andrew Wyndham. Do I hear any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Katie Sawyer, Jane Wardrobe, Gina Esparza, Andrew Wyndham, Kayla Tice, and Shanae Fermia to the Main Street Enterprise Board for a term ending February 2027.
Second.
All right. Are there any other nominations? All right. Nominations will now be closed. So I will. I'll now entertain a motion to appoint those nominees.
I move to appoint Katie Sawyer, June Wardrobe, Gina Esparza, Andrew Wyndham, Kayla Tice, and Shanae Fermia to the Main Street Enterprise Board for a term ending February 2027.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve these nominations. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor, do you have a report for us?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would again like to thank Rainer for his dedicated services to the City of Enterprise. We appreciate all you have done to keep things running smoothly over the past 23 years. You leave some big shoes to be filled, but we know that Ashley is set up for success. As a city, we have much to look forward to in 2024. With this new year, we anticipate the completion of several city projects like the new Recreation and Aquatic Center, City Hall renovation, pickleball courts, and multipurpose field. We will continue to work diligently to replace water lines and resurface many of our city streets. I would like to again thank the public for their patience as we work on many projects that we feel will improve our quality of life for the citizens of Enterprise. Today is the start of the business license renewal season. Due to the construction at City Hall, we are asking the business owners to please return their forms through the mail. Of course, City Hall will remain open during the renovation process. We're just a little more crowded than we have been in the past as we are working out on one side of the building during construction. I would like to commend our city workers for maintaining their positive attitude during this transition. I hope you can see how hard these men and women are working for you. I know you may encounter a line here or there, but I ask that you please be patient and know that our team is doing their best to serve you efficiently. Please note that the City of Enterprise will be closed on Monday, January 15th for the Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Our offices will reopen on January 16th. The start of the new year also means the start of a new rec league. Basketball starts up on Thursday. Registration will start soon for baseball and softball. Also this month, Main Street Enterprise is hosting the inaugural Mardi Gras on Main as a fundraiser for downtown and beautification projects. We hope that you will support this festive event and join us downtown on College Street on January 26th from 5 to 9 p.m. We also have a full month of activities happening at the Enterprise Senior Center I encourage you to check out the calendar of events on our website or on the city's Facebook page. Those are two great resources to stay up to date with what's happening here in our great city. Thank you.
Ms. Rich?
We want to say Happy New Year to everyone, and thanks for coming. Certainly want to acknowledge you, Mr. Carter, and your 23 years of service to our city. When I think of Rayner, I think of words like humility. I think when you're the city attorney, people have opinions. They make you important because you do an important job, but he doesn't act important. My grandma always said it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, and that's what Rayner is. You're nice, and you've shown kindness and niceness to me since 2017, and I thank you for that, and just thank you for your professionalism and all that you've done to make our city great, and wish you Godspeed to you and your family.
Mr. Goolsbee?
Well, I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Wish you a Happy New Year and a prosperous New Year. I'm not going to say anything about Rayner. You know I'm an old crybaby, and I'll cry. Thank y'all for coming tonight. One thing about the water project. It's supposed to be complete by the end of January, and I'm anticipating seeing all these cut-up streets and the mess we have repaired by them. Looking forward to a completion date.
Mr. Paget?
Also like to say Happy New Year to everyone. And Rayner, thanks for all your work and service. Since joining the council in 2020, several times you've answered the phone call that I made and helped me navigate things and figure out sometimes where stuff even was at City Hall. So thank you so much for your service.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. Thank you for all our citizens that are online watching. And again, Rayner, thank you. Thank you so very much. And God bless you and your family. And I'm just privileged enough to call you my friend. And I really enjoyed the time since 2020. Welcome, Ashley. Looking forward to working with you. And Mr. Funk, thank you for the email. I'd like to talk to you afterwards again, since we had a phone call. Thank you. And I'd just like to say, have a happy New Year, a safe and prosperous one for everyone in our city. Thank you. God bless.
Yeah, Mr. Funk, thank you for coming forward, and I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. I'm sure that's not enjoyable to be woken up every morning by those trucks. Hopefully we can look into that issue for you. Ashley, welcome aboard. Certainly looking forward to getting to know you better in a professional capacity. I'm sure you're up for the job. And Rayner, I'll reserve most of my comments for a more private conversation, but certainly want to thank you publicly for everything you've done. I don't think the general public will never know everything you've done over those 23 years. Obviously, we see behind the scenes how hard you work, the dedication, the integrity, the honor you bring to the city, to your family, and everything that you do. And it certainly has not always been easy. I know that. Certainly there's been disagreements. You and I have certainly disagreed. I wish I was as respectful as you were in our disagreements always. So, but you always did even that with honor and integrity, and I certainly did not go unnoticed. But like Scotty said, most of all, something I didn't expect through all this was to gain a friend out of this. So certainly proud to call you my friend, and I know you're not going anywhere. We'll still see you around town. So looking forward to getting together with you. That is all we have for our council meeting. We do have a E911 board meeting that we will reconvene in as soon as we can after we adjourn. We are now adjourned.